Hi. Well, it's me, cardiologist, back again. You'll see that the background is different. Cardiology Garage has moved to a new place. Yes, the old Cardiology Garage is no more. Lots of changes in Cardiologist. We'll get to those later. But today, we are back. And today we're here to talk about doing a major service on an Audi A4 2013 B8 version. The car has just about 75,000 miles on it, and it's time for that service. This beautiful car belongs to daughter of cardiologist. Let's take a look at it. So, daughter of cardiologist is the lucky recipient of this fine Audi A4, which has been very good for her, and thankfully is still in one piece. So, whereas previously I've done a lot of videos about Mercedes, and we will continue to do so, today's video is about Audi. And this is the base model. It is front-wheel drive. It's not four-wheel drive. It has the 2.0-liter engine, front-wheel drive, turbocharged, four-cylinder. I'm going to show you the scope of the work today. So, in addition to this car needing its maintenance, we had a check engine light come on. When I interrogated the car, it came up with a P2187 code, Bank 1 lean. And as it turns out, that is a bad PCV valve, which of course is redundant because the V in PCV means valve. But I got the following parts in order to remedy this situation. This is an official German Volkswagen PCV. And in addition, we're going to do a full service, which will entail an oil change using official Liqui-Moly full synthetic 5W40 and a nice man filter. I even got a new drain bolt with a new drain gasket. Additionally, we're going to put in an air filter, a nice man air filter. We're going to put in a Hengst cabin air filter. We are going to replace the belt with an official Volkswagen belt. And I got official Volkswagen spark plugs, which I think are just NGK spark plugs. And I even picked up a little deep socket wrench so that I can get those in. And that will constitute the major service plus the repair for the P2187 error code. Now let's get to work and let's make this happen on daughter of cardiologist's car. So we have here the TFSI 2.0-liter turbocharged engine, which is a nice small engine that seems to be fairly easy to work on, with the exception of maybe the belt, where I'm not going to have a heck of a lot of space, but we'll deal with that when it comes, and you can watch me struggle for your entertainment as well as education, but mostly for your entertainment. So let's begin by taking off this plastic cover. The plastic cover just pulls up. There are 4 plastic tabs, and then it is removed, revealing everything. And this over here is the pollution control valve, the PCV. That will be replaced as well. So, let's go ahead and do some service. We may as well start with the oil service. Okay, so we put the car up on ramps, and then do not forget to come back here and chock the wheels when you're done, because it really sucks when your car kind of rolls off and straight down your driveway and sort of crushes you and then continues to roll straight into the middle of the street. Yeah, not really a great plan. So, now that that has been accomplished, we are going to open up this hood and do a nice oil service. And of course you'll notice in the background our good old-fashioned faithful diesel, which now has 214,000 miles on it, and of course will be the subject of more videos in the future. Okay, so we begin by placing a drip pan underneath, and you'll see there are a few plastic panels. This guy over here is number 1, this guy over here is number 2. Using the appropriate Torx tool, we're going to go ahead and loosen these nuts, and I will describe the correct size in a moment. So, as it turns out, these little screws are T25, and one of the beauties of this particular procedure is that you're going to see that cardiologist has just moved to his new cardiology garage and has pretty much no idea where all the various things are. We took everything out of old cardiology garage, and I know that it's here somewhere, but it's just a lot of steps behind the scene to find exactly where things are. So we'll take all these out, we'll take the plastic panels off, and we shall continue. So it turns out there's two kinds of bolts under here, and this one is actually a T27, and there's more of these than there are of these. These guys are just the ones that go up to the front bumper, and then these are the ones that seem to hold on the rest of the panels, T27. To make things as confusing as possible, we also have these, which are T27, except these are obviously sort of a sheet metal style screw, as compared to this guy, which is a threaded machine screw. So thank you very much, Volkswagen Auto Group, for making life as complicated as possible. Oh good. Wait, there's more. Look, this one works with either a Phillips or a flathead screwdriver, and has a funny little end like this, and that holds on the middle panel. And there's a whole bunch of these also. Yay. Okay, so here's a good tip. You don't need to take off this front panel. Unless, of course, you want to get all of that crap out of there. So now we're going to use the official cardiology leaf blower to get rid of all of this garbage. And I even see some cigarette butts in there, presumably from the previous owner. I do not think daughter of cardiologist smokes cigarettes and then throws the butts like in the front of her engine. I'm pretty sure she's smart enough not to do that. Okay, so now that I have cleaned out all of the outrageous amounts of junk that was in this front panel and determined that this front panel does not need to be removed, I'm going to put the screws back on. But first let me show you the panel that does need to be removed. So if you're trying to do work on this car and you're laying under it, looking up, this is what you're going to find. You are going to find these screws, which are the ones that can be used either with a standard screwdriver or a Phillips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. And that is all that you need, and then you're in good shape. I'm going to go put back all the other screws so that the front panel that does not need to be removed is now secured. But I am glad that I did it, because I have now discovered that there was a whole bunch of junk under there, including wrappers and cigarette butts, and that just is not going to be good sitting in the front of your car. In fact, as I'm looking in here, it looks like there's some, I think there's a horrible creature in here. I don't know what this is, but yeah, daughter of cardiologist, I think this is a little bit of roadkill. So yeah, this is kind of like a bird, or it sort of was a bird, or maybe it's a piece of a bird, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna fly anymore. Okay, so as it turns out then, this piece does not need to come out. I have put it all back in, but it just goes to show you that when you get a car that's used, best thing to do is to take a really good look at it, and by having taken that down, I identified that there was a ton of crud in there and junk and roadkill. All of it needed to be removed. That's only going to interfere with the cooling system and the air conditioning system, and I'm actually glad that we got that out of there. And now we can continue on. In order to drain the oil, we find the oil plug, which is right here. It takes a 6mm Allen key or hex key, and that'll go right in there, and we are going to unscrew this and drain the oil. The oil, she is drained. Just getting the last little drops out. We'll wait for all that. And then I have to make a decision about whether I'm going to use the old oil drain plug or use the new one that I bought. They look a little bit different, so we have to be quite careful about that. Don't want to do silly things. So you may ask, why would you even think about using a new one as compared to an old one? What the heck is wrong with the old one? Well, here's the old one. And what I really am hoping for is a crush washer that's removable or insertable, but it doesn't look like there is one. And this edge looks like it has been tightened too many times, and I was noticing a tiny bit of seepage of oil there, even though I was at the correct torque. Now this new one does come with a washer, but what I'm noticing on this washer is that it looks like it's a captive washer, and I really can't get it off. So it'll probably seal better if I use this, but instead of being able to replace the washer, it looks like every once in a while you just have to replace the bolt and the washer, which once again is really not a very good design in my opinion. On the Mercedes, every single time I change it, I put on a new crush washer. Okay, so this new drain plug fits very well, and it does have the washer, and I'm going to use a torque wrench to apply 30 Newton meters of torque, which is the correct torque, and that'll probably crush that washer just perfectly. And there it goes. Perfect. All right, now I can clean that up and we can fill up the, we can take out the oil filter and then change that. So this is my oil filler tool, my oil wrench or oil filter tool, okay, and this is on at 22 Newton meters. Okay, so I'm just going to unscrew it, throw it away. I got a new one which will then put down at 22 Newton meters. Okay, a nice new man filter. Take a little bit of clean oil, rub it around the gasket here, and then we're going to install and torque it to 22 Newton meters. When you're putting on a filter, you always put it on by hand first to make sure that the threads have caught, and then you screw it down by hand. And only now, once it's all the way down, will I take the tool to it. This is set to 22 Newton meters. And there it is. That's it. So we are now going to put in about 4 liters of this good stuff, the Liquimoly 5W40. Make sure that you have the VW505 specification, which you will see is right there. So we'll put this in, and then I can check the level and top it off later. Okay, so we put in 4 liters total. I got the car off the ramp. I have the car on a level surface. I'm going to let this equilibrate. While that's equilibrating, now what I'm going to do is begin the rest of the service, which will include the PC valve, and we're going to take off the coil packs, and we're going to go ahead and replace the spark plugs as part of our major service. We will first unplug these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in order to do that, there's a tab. We'll press that tab in with a screwdriver and lift. Like that. We'll do that for all 8. Now the only trick is that they're staggered. So this one, the tab is on the outside, but this guy, the tab is on the inside. So tab and lift. Tab and lift. There it goes. Alright, so we're going to do that for all 8. We will now use a T30 to take out this screw, which holds the rail in place. Okay, this rail then unplugs from each of the coil packs, and next we will remove the coil packs in order to replace the spark plugs. So the coil packs pull straight up, and keep them in order. So this was 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for anybody who's wondering, I had to pull way too hard to get these coil packs out. It was very difficult, which pretty much confirms to me that this was never done before. Don't forget to use your dielectric grease, and then that won't happen again. So they are not attached by anything, just friction and a lot of friction. So pull, make sure you don't break any adjacent pieces. So to get down in there, you're going to need a long spark plug tool, which I did buy when I bought the other parts. And hopefully this will do the job for us. Let's see how that fits in. Alright, so here we go. And that spark plug tool goes right down there. And that works great. So I'll be able to get some purchase on that and take that out. Okay, so using that tool, we got out the spark plugs. They all look pretty good. Except for number 4, which has just a little bit of oil on it. But let us hope that that does not represent a significant concern. The car was running well, so we'll just go with it. Don't forget to use anti-seize a little bit, not much, and dielectric grease so that it's not so hard to pull these things out in the future. Okay, I decided to go with official VW spark plugs, VW Audi spark plugs. Here they are. And these are going to get torqued down to 30 Newton meters. Okay? 30 Newton meters. So a few nice things about this tool. It's magnetic. So as this goes in, it's not coming out. Second thing is that you never take a tool to something until you know that it's been threaded. So I'm putting it in manually, and I'm just spinning it because there's no way I can do damage to anything. And then when I feel that it tightens down, like there, well then I know I'm in, and I'll just torque it down later. So I'll do that with all four. Okay, so now that that's in, I have my torque wrench here, and I have it set for 30 Newton meters, which is the same as 22 foot-pounds. But remember, this is a European car, so you should really go by the metric system. So I'm just going slowly until I hit 30. And there it is. And now we'll torque down all of the spark plugs. Oh, that one was a little looser than I thought. Guess I hadn't brought that one down quite as much. Come on. Wow. There it goes. Okay. Jeez. There it is. Okay, so we'll do that with the other two. Okay, so now with the spark plugs replaced and torqued, I think while everything's accessible, I'm going to go after the PCV. And we'll have to take off this pipe, and then we'll have to take off some screws, and we'll show you how that goes. Alright, we're going to use a T30. Take off these screws, make sure that they get saved. So I'll take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I got the old PCV out, and then this thing unplugs from it, and then this is the new PCV, and then that guy will plug right back in there somewhere. Yeah, right where my hand is. So that'll come in like that. Yeah, like that. Good. All right. I'll wipe this off and we'll put it all back together. By the way, there were 2 extra screws. I showed you 8, but in fact, there were 10. So with the new PCV installed, and once again there were 10 screws, I'm going to have to now put this hose back on, and I'm torquing down each screw to 10 Newton meters, which is the correct specification. So that's what we'll do with all 10 screws. Okay, so now with the PCV installed and 10 bolts torqued down with a T30 to 10 Newton meters, I've reinstalled this hose. Everything is now looking really good. We're going to put a little dielectric grease on the coils right here at the tips, and then we're going to reinstall them so that everything goes on nicely. Okay, the coil packs push in, and they push in so much easier than when they came out. I guess part of it is just the process of pushing in where you're not sucking. Part of it is that I lubricated it, so now it's good. And I'll clean up the top of the engine and then reconnect the electrical connectors. Alright, good. Everything's reconnected. So this might be a good time to start the engine. Make sure everything works. Oh, no, everything's not reconnected. And things will not work. Look, we got to put these on. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and come on, 8. Okay, now we'll do what I said. And then, since it's been on a flat surface, I can also check the level of oil and top it off if I have to. Okay, so to deal with the air filter, we're going to get a T30 right in here and take out 1, 2, just 3, 4, whatever plastic ones there are. We're going to remove the mass airflow sensor. We're going to unscrew this bolt and take off this pipe, and then we should be able to get at the filter. Alright, so I was able to take this pipe off. Then I found all 6 screws, some of which were hiding. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This guy was hiding. 4, 5, and that was hiding. Now that all 6 are off, I didn't even need to take off the mass airflow sensor, which is good. I just do this, take out the filter, replace the element, and we're good. Okay, new filter in place. Take this, put it all back, screw it in, and we're good with the filter. You can come over here and take a look. The old filter, kind of dirty, kind of yucky, a little feather there. Okay, so the only thing left now is the cabin air filter. That's located here in the footwell. Now this is kind of weird, all right? There's this soft thing. Not the hard plastic. The hard plastic doesn't have to come out. The soft thing, there's 3 clips. You can take them out by hand. So one's here. So just suffice it to say that there's 3 of them. Okay, that's one. And then the second one is going to be here. And the third one is here. We'll get all 3 of those out. With all 3 of those out, this little piece of foam rubber thing just slides down, okay? And that reveals this white box, and then the white box is where the cabin air filter is. And we're gonna just have to slide it to open it, and I'll figure out the slide mechanism in a second, and then we'll change the filter. Okay, so you take this white filter thing and this white plastic and you push it to the right, and then that's going to reveal where the cabin air filter is located, right up in here. Now what we can do is slide out the cabin air filter element, and it's probably a mess, and then we will replace it with our nice new one. Okay, so the cabin air filter is done now also. I put the engine cover back on. The only thing I haven't done today is change the belt. I think I'll do that tomorrow. That's a lot of work for one day, and it's time to get washed and go to dinner. And so far so good. Okay, well I guess today is the day to finish this up. What I'm going to do is take the Serpentine belt tool with a 17mm socket on it, and what we're going to do is put it right on the bolt of the chain tensioner, which is here. And then once it's on like that, yeah, I know it's not easy to do this with one hand, folks. Okay, good. Now once it's on, now watch what you do. You just rock it like this. That loosens the belt tension, and now I can take off that belt, route it around, and get the new one on. And believe it or not, that does it. So here is the old belt, which is actually not in bad shape, but it was time for it to be replaced. So that wasn't the hardest thing in the world, just a little bit fiddly to get your hands in there. So if you have small hands, it definitely helps. And that should do it. So now let's start the car, make sure everything's good. Okay, so that does that. And now for the very last thing, I think I'm going to take off this shield. Look at all this junk. I want to clean out the water drains. And we'll make out our final item for the service. Okay, so that comes off. You unscrew these 2 things. And then right in the middle we have 2 clips. Well, I thought we had 2 clips. No, I guess we just have 1 clip right in the middle. That's it. Good. So now, this will show you what a complete mess this is. And this all has to be cleaned out. So, we will do so. Alright, so that actually cleaned it out. That was just about as bad as cleaning out my gutters. I cannot believe how much junk was in there. Makes me wonder just where this car had been before it was owned by daughter of cardiologist. But now it's all clean. You got to make sure the drain holes are clear. That would be right down in here. Otherwise you get rust, but there's no signs of that here. I'll put everything back together, and daughter of cardiologist should be very happy for at least the next 10,000 miles. And let's see what this looks like when it's buttoned up. And so this is now with the rain cover back on, all of the junk removed, cleaned out. The leaves are out, the drains are open. I found all kinds of cigarette butts in here. And no, daughter of cardiologist does not smoke. This was just from the previous owner. And we got the entire service done, everything done the right way, official. New PCV, everything, the oil change, the belt change. I'm very proud of myself. I managed to get this job done, managed to have the car still run. I didn't break anything, I didn't get injured. It's a small miracle. So, with that, it is another cardiology job. We turn the camera back over here and we say thank you for watching. And one more time, until the next cardiology job, thank you for joining us.